I welcome you to Bible Times. I'm Willard Pless, and we're here to learn what's going on in the world, what's happening, to bring the Bible to reality, to know that the Bible gives us what's going on in this world. And today I want to talk about the Jewish year 5785 and when that will end as we look at the Jewish calendar. When 5785 will end and 5786 will begin. And we learned that this is going to come about in September. When we get to September the 22nd, that this 5785 will come to the end and 5786 will begin. Now, if you look at the Jewish calendar, you realize that the thing there is that this millennial, which is the sixth millennial that we're in now, will be shortened for 215 years. So that brings us to 5785. So this teaches that this millennial is cut short. Jesus talked about that in Matthew chapter 24, that he talked about that he would shorten that time because of the danger of no flesh being saved because of the being deceived and taken away. But see, there's going to be a seventh millennial, and this is going to be flesh. This world's going to go on for another 1,000 years, and 5785 comes to an end here when we get to September the 22nd, here in 2025. And then we'll begin the 5786. And see, we understand that this is when things are going to begin to turn very bitter in this world. Israel is to feel the things that Jesus felt in the last week of his life, especially the sixth day. This is the thing too, that we need to realize that Israel's going to feel what Jesus felt in the last week of his life, especially the last day he was crucified, the 24 hours in there, that Israel's going to feel the pain. It's not him this time that's going to feel the pain, but Israel's going to feel the pain. And that's what they're going through right now. They've been in this for years. We started the 7-year tribulation in 2018. And when we come to 2025, to the end of 2025, this is the end of the 7 years. And as we look at this, see the Jewish calendar, the Jewish people, and see, that's what the Bible's all about anyway. The Bible talks about what's going to take place with them. I don't know about you, but I believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I believe that very much. And I'm doing my best to understand what's going on and what's happening in this world, and because I want to see. I don't want Jesus to return without somebody here on earth understanding what's going on. I want to understand, because he's given it in his book. The Bible that we have he's given these things. He gave it through Daniel and the Apostle John. Even goes back to the Old Testament prophets, especially Jeremiah and Ezekiel and as well, and you know Daniel, of course, that what the book of Daniel gives us, that God had given him to write down. And then he gave to the Apostle John to write the book of Revelation of what's going on, what's happening, what's going to take place. And I'm understanding that people don't want to learn this. They want to push it away. They're not interested in learning what's going on. See, Jesus said you can know the time and the season. He gave that in Matthew 24. Disciples asked him about the signs of his coming in the world, and he started giving them that. He gave them the signs of the time. You can know the time we're in by the signs. And then he even gave the season when he talked about the fig tree. That even gave the season. And we're in the time and the season. But he said you can't know the day or the hour that I will come, but you can know the time and the season. And we're in the time. When we end 5785 here in September, this is when things are going to turn bitter. We learned that the financial system of the world is going to crash. And then we understand that Israel's going to turn off President Trump. They're very much with him right now, but this thing's going to turn bitter. And they're going to turn him off. And Daniel teaches in chapter 9 of his book that when they turn him off, that the people are going to flood Jerusalem. Just like when he was turned off in January of 2021, that they flooded the Capitol Hill. And that's the wounded head that the Bible talked about, that would be wounded. But see, people don't want to see things. They don't want to understand. When I start talking about the time and the season, people run away. They don't want to listen to that. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to realize that we're in this time and Jesus is coming, is close. When we get into 5786, that starts here in September the 22nd, that things are going to turn bitter. And, of course, Jesus will come shortly thereafter. By May the 14th in 2026. See, you have to look at the Jewish calendar. We're in the Gregorian calendar, and you'd have to look at that and learn the difference about that. But see, the Bible calendar runs from April to April, from the month of Nisan to Nisan, and that's April to April, and you'll have to study that and learn that. But we're here. We're at this time. This this thing's coming. And people don't want to face up that Jesus is coming as soon as these things are pointed out. And even though we can't know the day or the hour, but we can know the time and the season. And this is appearing very clear. See, Joel gave the last two Bible signs that would be given. And Peter talked about that in Acts chapter 2. And it was the sun eclipse that happened on April the 8th in 2024. And then when we come to March in 2024, on March the 14th, we had the blood moon. And see, the prophecy of Joel gave that would be the last two signs. But see, when we come to May the 14th in 2025, that all the signs had been fulfilled. Now that don't mean that they're finished, but it means that all the signs have come to be seen and realized in this world. And see, the seven angel with the seven bowls of the wrath of God are being poured out now. That's what we see is going on in this world. The storms and the fires and the earthquakes and see tornadoes and wind and see this. Those angels are pouring the bowls of wrath upon the strongholds that's in this world that supports the beast and that's in this world, and we know who that is. We know the Bible teaches that President Trump is the leader of this thing. And this thing is coming to the climax before we get to May the 14th in 2026 year, or 5786, as we learned that we start here in September. See, Daniel in chapter 9 of his book gives that 62 years after President Kennedy was shot, assassinated, that President Trump will be cut off, that Israel will cut him off. And when we come to November the 22nd, that's when President Kennedy was assassinated. That'll be 62 years. And Daniel gave that in chapter 9, verse 26. And you can go there and look at that. We're trying to understand what's going on here. And I know people can push it away. You don't have to listen, I know. You got the ability to push away, but I hope that people get in here and say, I want to understand this. I want to see. I want to know and understand the time and season that Jesus is coming, and I want to definitely be looking for his coming. People walking in the dark, in darkness, they're not going to see. But you don't want to walk in darkness, as Paul talked about it there in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. That we're the children of light, we're not the children of darkness. And he talked about that, and we need to understand that, and I hope you do. Call on Jesus, talk to him, walk with him, fellowship with him, be a part in this time that we're living in right now. And look forward to his coming, because he's coming soon. And the marriage supper of the Lamb's going to take place in heaven soon. And then he's going to come to this earth, returning like after the order of Jacob, which is a great warrior. And we've already talked about that. And so I hope you'll get in here and learn and be willing to understand and be a part and talk to Jesus and fellowship with him and the Father. And so God bless you, and you have a great day.